Hello, it is Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Thursday puzzle today, so we are likely to encounter our most interestingly themed puzzle of the week, and it's been constructed by a true veteran master crossword constructor. So it should be a good one, I suspect. And this veteran master edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Trash Snack, Josh Lucas, and, of course, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark, and the inimitable Connor O'Neill. Thank you so much to the five of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support in directly supporting the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, and therefore directly supporting this series and channel. I do very much appreciate that, as I appreciate the contributions of everybody who is a patron of the channel. Thank you so much if you are such a person or have been such a person, and if you're interested in perhaps becoming such a person, you can find more information at patreon.com/dailysolve, where for a few pounds a month or the equivalent in your local currency, you can get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. And if you become a benefactor, like the five people named at the beginning of this video, you can also get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug. Anyway, more information about everything relating to that can be found in the link in the description field underneath the video. And you can also join the Daily Solve Discord chat server. You get an extra channel as a member of the Patreon campaign, but otherwise it's completely free. And there's a link in the description field as well. And please do subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying these videos. All right, let's get on to the puzzle itself. This is, as noted, a Thursday puzzle, and it has been constructed by Jeff Chen, who is the proprietor of the xwordinfo.com website, which has an enormous, it's just an absolutely incredible resource with statistics and historical puzzles and almost any sort of information you might want when it comes to the New York Times crossword puzzle. You can find it at xwordinfo.com. And Jeff Chen is also an extremely experienced constructor in his own right, having constructed well over 100 puzzles, I think more than 130 puzzles for the New York Times crossword alone. And the puzzle was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's start solving. South Asian, informally. Could be Desi. That's a terminology that piece of terminology that could be used to refer to people from that part of the world. Usually self-description. Call the shots could be decide? No, that didn't work, did it? Corresponded with, in a way, emailed, perhaps? World capital on the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire. Oh, I don't know. I'll probably feel silly when I see this and I haven't gotten it already, but let's keep looking. An Islamic scholar is an imam. You didn't ask, but to a texture might be IMO for in my opinion. Didn't ask, but in my opinion, you might say. Call the shots. So what is this? Call the shots to... Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. Mood setters for a romantic dinner. Well, what are sort of stereotypically those things? You might have candlelight or mood music or, I don't know, flowers or... it's not helping, is it? What might be traded for tit for tat, people might say, in order to... I guess if you're sort of trading minor insults or bits of evidence in an argument, for instance, that kind of thing. Oh, to call the shots is to dictate. There we go. Got there eventually. And Captain Marvel for one. I'm not sure what this wants. Sorry, I don't know much about this character. What about this? Duck color. Teal? There are 30 on an icosahedron, 30 edges, presumably. And Echo speaker. Oh, Amazon Echo is the Amazon Alexa character who performs tasks and answers questions and things. Like Canada's maple leaf. Serrated? It is. The maple leaf on the Canadian flag is serrated. I wonder if that's the answer. It looks like it probably is. Having a serrated edge, I mean that kind of notched edge. Okay, photosynthetic process inflating 16, 24, 46, and 56 across. Interesting. So this will almost certainly be the revealer to our theme today. So we'll have some kind of inflating process that will affect several answers in the grid. I'm very curious to see what that is. Oh, this isn't serrated. Author of The Bonesetter's Daughter, 2001. That's Amy Tan. So this is not serrated. Sorry about that. Okay. Interesting. So what is this? Street food favorites topped with tzatziki. Gyros? And then leave alone. And then blank moment. Aha moment. What I didn't have when I saw, well, I thought I had when I guessed serrated, but indeed not the case. Bounds could be what? Leaps or jumps or borders could mean, or contains. Often uttered lead into that's gotta hurt. I wonder if it's oh man, that's gotta hurt. If you're imagining a kind of sports commentator or something. Ancient dweller of Central Asia and Eastern Europe. Huns? Maybe. Carnivorous is to meat as carpophagus is to what? Wow. An interesting puzzle today. Look at this photosynthetic process, the food of the carpophagus category. I don't know. Unravel could be what? To sort of spool or unwind. 1 of 2 in 22222, a slash perhaps? I think that all those 2s are a bit of misdirection there because there are 5 2s and 3 numbers including 2s. Where Aquaman reigns as king. Oceans? Atlantis? I actually have no idea. Is Atlantis part of the sort of comic book world? Maybe. It seems like it would be plausible. Let's put it in and see if the crosses work. Tender feelings could be aches, maybe. I mean, that would actually work both in the metaphorical sense. You sort of ache for that person. You have tender feeling for them. But also you could have a literal ache in your arm. You could feel tender. Samples could be tries as a verb. I sampled that food. I tried it. My friend blank. Classic of children's literature. I don't know. Maybe I'll recognize it when I see it, but I'm not sure offhand. Like burning plastic has an acrid, horrible acrid smell and effect. Early chewing gum ingredient. Not sure offhand. More submissive could be meeker. And 60 across output or 18 across synonym. And those aren't highlighted, interestingly. So what is 60 across is popular fallacies writer, 1826. And 18 across synonym is tries. Oh. Is it essays? Oh, essays. Right. Sorry, yes. Tries, essays, attempts to do something. And so the writer of popular fallacies, 1826, produced essays, which makes perfect sense. Okay, so I don't think that's theme related, even though it's referring to two other answers. Supplier of iron carrots in old cartoons. I don't remember the iron carrots in particular, but Acme certainly was the fictional company name used in many cartoons. I always remember them from, I think, Bugs Bunny cartoons, but probably others as well. And the iron carrots probably is Bugs Bunny related. I don't remember. Anyway, my friend blank, classic of children's literature. My friend. No, I don't. I still don't think I know this. What about this? Actor Cooper. I don't know how I misread that. Actor Cooper. Don't think I know. And some hesitations could be whoops. Okay. What else have we? I think I sort of skipped over quite a few clues over here. Imperial gem, mined as early as 6000 BC. Interesting. Jade, perhaps? I think it has a sort of Chinese imperial context. Forceful, yes, forceful character would be a Jedi. I was thinking maybe onyx, opal, all kinds of things, but jade seemed the most imperial, and that fits with a reference to the concept of the Force from Star Wars with this. Make some cuts, perhaps. Could be etch, maybe? It doesn't look very good with this C here. Soccer star Maradona. Ah, Diego Maradona, I do recognize, despite my blind spot for things sport-related, but do recognize Diego Maradona. So make some cuts, perhaps. I'm not sure, though. And then Mars rovers, in brief. Question mark. Perhaps this is ETs, extraterrestrials. So we're not referring to literally Mars rovers, the actual vehicles used to explore surfaces of extraterrestrial bodies like Mars, but rather extraterrestrial in the sense of a kind of humanoid alien in fiction, and hence the question mark, cluing us into a bit of punnery or wordplay. So to make some cuts, perhaps, what is this? Is it exit? Why is that? Does that mean as in to cut out of a scenario or something? I'm not sure I understand. No, oh, edit, sorry. Oh, I don't know how I messed that up. I even have been a professional editor in my life. Anyway, make some cuts, perhaps, to edit journalism, for instance. Wing it is to ad lib, and mood setters for romantic dinners, canoodles. And so, indeed, the answer is effectively candles, but we're inflating it somehow. We're adding these OOs into here. So that's what's going on with this clue about the photosynthetic process inflating these four answers. And this is the only one I've seen so far, but no, it's not, because this is two O's. Right, Bradley Cooper is Boo Radley. Right, so Boo Radley is a character from the novel To Kill a Mockingbird. And then canoodles is obviously a word, well, obviously, but it's a word that has a sort of romantic overtone, in the sense that canoodling, you sort of, you canoodle with somebody on the couch or something. But I don't know if they need to be related yet, because is Boo Radley related to actor Bradley Cooper? Probably not. I don't know if he's ever played that character or something. Maybe. I'm actually not sure. But that's very clever. So we've inserted these extra O's and created new, completely valid words or phrases. Very good. As expected, a surprising and clever theme from Jeff Chen. Okay, biting remarks could be ows, if you get bit. Comic actress Kristen Wiig. Yes, Kristen Wiig is a comic actress indeed. Captain Marvel for one. Oh, Alias. Oh, I guess I could have guessed that. I assumed it was going to be more specific to this particular character, but no, it just means an assumed name. Oh, Santiago is the world capital on the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire. I probably could have guessed that, but didn't. Duck color was teal after all. Oh, oxygenation, photosynthetic process. Because O2 would be oxygen, and so we're sort of inflating. We're sort of adding oxygen into these clues in the way that you would a balloon. Is that what this is? No, it's not. It isn't. That doesn't fit. Sorry. Oh, like Canada's maple leaf, it's symmetric. Is it? No. Do we only need one M in symmetric? Textures, hold on a sec. BRB. No, it's not. Okay. Sorry. I have no luck with Canada's maple leaf for whatever reason. To leave alone. Oh, to leave someone alone is to let them be. Let be. I see. And bounds are limits. Ah, so I did get something wrong. This is not an aha moment. Whoops. Oh, fruit. Carpophagus. Fruit. Ah. So I suppose certain insects are probably carpophagus. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. And my friend, oh, see, I just don't know what this is. Flinka? Early chewing gum ingredient. Oh. Is it chicle? I mean, I know that there are boy, I haven't seen or heard of these in decades, but there is a brand of chewing gum maybe called Chiclets that probably references an early ingredient of chewing gum. So I'm guessing this is My Friend Flicka and Chickle, the early chewing gum ingredient. I definitely don't know either of these, but that's my best guess, and I'll have to remember if the puzzle doesn't validate that that's where I had to guess. Tough one, tough cross, for me anyway. Okay, it may be applied to a single... Oh, sorry, I never looked back at this. Oh, it is oxygenation. Right, okay. Oh, and this is in a moment. It's not aha moment, but rather in a moment. Just hang on one moment, you might say. Okay, to unravel something is to solve the puzzle or the crossword theme, which I am slowly doing. It may be applied to a single digit. Nails something. It could be a single digit as in a finger. Digit being used in that sense. So, nail file maybe? Does that work? Repellent is vile. And feminine name that anagrams to another feminine name. Nellie anagrams to Ellen. No, it doesn't. Anagram to Ellen. Nell, though, does. It's funny reason that we have the nickname nicknames like Nell for Elizabeth, which seems strange, doesn't it? Because there isn't Elizabeth doesn't start with an L, so why can it get shortened to Nell or Nellie? It's because hundreds and hundreds, several hundred years ago, maybe 400 years ago, maybe no more than that. Ellie would have been a nickname for Elizabeth, and in English we would say mine rather than my. So you might refer to my Nellie in a familiar way. And then over time, those things kind of got elided together, and English simplified. So languages tend to simplify over time. Widely used languages, anyway, tend to simplify over time. And maybe this isn't the answer. Anyway, I'm already telling the story, so I guess I'll continue. Mine, we lost some syllables, as we often do in language, and it became my. But some of those sort of familiar nicknames stuck around. So my Nellie, which was mine Ellie, became my Nellie. Similarly, Ned for Edward. Why would we say Ned instead of Edward? It doesn't really make sense, but that's why. And there are a number of other nicknames that are the result of that kind of elision. Anyway, sit after everyone else scooches over. To slide in. There we go. Grist for the rumor mill. Hearsay. You could say that's just hearsay. It's not confirmed. Prez who founded the March of Dimes. It must be FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And this does look like nail file after all. Okay, so what was this? Delia, maybe? Feminine name that anagrams to another feminine name, sorry. So does Delia... Sorry, I'm just incapable of seeing this. Adelie or Lydia? No, none of those really work. Oh no, it's Celia. I should have just looked at the cross. This is the thing, when I'm doing this on video, I feel this need to try and solve each clue, whereas if I were doing this completely on my own, I would just be jumping all over the place, solving everything and getting things with crosses and not worrying that I can't anagram one feminine name to another feminine name. Anyway, comedian Margaret Cho is the answer, and so Celia is the name. And why? Elise, I suppose. Or Alice. Okay, there we go. Blank one, teach one. Rhyming proverb. So what? Reach one, teach one, or I don't know. I'm sorry. Quarter pound things at McDonald's. Patties? Yes, and that becomes patooties. There we go. Very good. Very funny, ridiculous theme. Blank Ed, animated talks for kids. Well, I've never heard of this, but I'm guessing it's TED Ed. The TED Talks adapted for children, I suppose. And then Popular Fallacies writer, 1826, Elia, right? The essays of Elia. You do see that often. And then Controvert would be deny, to controvert an opinion, to deny it. And I think we've seen all the crosses there. Peons metaphorically. Peons metaphorically. So this will be referring to kind of lowly workers or something. Sprites, but not Pepsis, are what, imps or something? I mean, they're sort of little... I wonder if this is a bit of misdirection, and sprites, in fact, does not refer to the soda, but rather the mythical creature. I'm not sure. Letter resembling Indiana University's logo. I do not know Indiana University's logo, but my guess would be maybe it looks like a Psy character. Fake coin. And sphere. And took notice in a way. Sat up and took notice. You might say, oh, so perhaps sprites but not Pepsis are after all imps. And, oh, one's sphere of knowledge could be one's realm of knowledge. There we go. Oh, each one teach one? Rhyming proverb, I suppose. All right. I don't think I've heard that before, but fair enough. And peons metaphorically are cogs in the machine. I see, yes. So it is referring to sort of lowly workers here. And fake coin is, oh, a slug, I think. I think I've heard that before, but I wouldn't have gotten there without crosses. That's certainly true. Okay, now what was this? Oh, we haven't seen this yet. Torn and ragged clothing. Well, we can immediately put in an O before this other O. I mean, I think that's clear. So like Canada's maple leaf, is it symbolic? Boy, that's much more generic than I expected it to be. I mean, I suppose it's true in the sense that, oh, because it is a national symbol, I suppose? Is that what this is saying? I see. That must be the answer. That is absolutely not what I was expecting it to be, but fair enough. A bit of a light misdirection, I guess I would say. So if one is behind, one trails their opponent. His first initial stands for EO. Oh, I am Pei, the late great architect of many famous works, such as the pyramid outside the Louvre in Paris. It may get worn out, and in a position to sue, say. Harmed. If one is harmed, one may sue. Readers may flip over it. See, the reason I've read it that way, rather than readers may flip over it, is because I assume this is a bit of misdirection, and we're trying to think about something a reader will literally flip, like a page of a book, for instance. Movie-themed Happy Meal, IG. A tie-in promotional toy. Oh, and right, torn and ragged clothing. We never actually really considered this. So tatters, yes, tatters and tattooers. So your clothing is in tatters. It's torn and ragged. And also tattooers is a valid word we've created. It may get worn out. And things said in doctor's office. Ahs, they might say ah. Readers may flip over it or flip over it. A staple? You could flip... Oh, right. You flip over. You literally flip the page over where it is stapled to turn the page. There we go. Very clever. Adam's apple locale is, of course, the Garden of Eden. So light misdirection because we think of an Adam's apple in the neck, but refers to the... I mean, I suppose the Adam's apple comes from the Garden of Eden story in the Bible, so it is indeed directly relevant. It may get worn out is attire. You may wear out your clothing and create tatters, not tattoos. And the Ark of the Covenant, e.g., would be a relic. And there we go. So as it turned out, it was indeed my friend Flicka and chicle, the early chewing gum ingredient. And what a funny theme, our oxygenation, the photosynthetic process inflating 16, 24, 46, and 56 across. So we've inflated candles for our romantic dinner into canoodles. This is the only one of these where you'd probably want it inflated into that thing in the situation being described. Actor Cooper is being inflated into Boo Radley. It's interesting that it doesn't highlight the other answers. Our torn and ragged clothing is being inflated into tattooers. That is inexplicable. And the quarter-pound things at McDonald's are being inflated from patties into patooties. It's also slightly disturbing. But anyway, there we have it. A rather absurdist theme, but a fun Thursday theme from Jeff Chen. And one of those themes where once you've identified it, you can it does give you the occasional letter here and there. I think I was able to put maybe this O in once we saw there was already an O in this answer because we recognized the pattern, and that's that. Certainly gave me a few tough crosses. Obviously, most notably Flicka and Chickle, but some tough crosses otherwise as well, and a new piece of knowledge for me with this Carpophagus creatures are fruit eaters. That was very interesting. I assume that probably refers mainly to certain insects, but I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Very interesting. A funny and slightly, as I say, slightly ridiculous and absurd crossword, but a good solid Thursday from Jeff Chen. And with that, let's discuss a few clues from yesterday's puzzle. Can't remember the nature of what sorts of things I highlighted, but let's find out. James Dickey explains that a zipper merge is when cars in alternate lanes merge together in an alternating fashion. For example, if the right lane is ending, the leadmost car in that lane will merge left between the lead car in that lane and the car following, then the next car in the right lane merges behind that following car, and so on like a zipper. That makes perfect sense. I don't know why I wasn't familiar with that phrase, but thank you. Joe Zichterman points out that 51 down got solved through the crosses and not mentioned again. Sorry about that. Pointing out this was a tricky one, says Joe. The clue was in brackets, waves hand in a circle, and the answer was ETC for etc. Yes, that's true. I didn't ever return to that after it had been solved. So I suppose what that means is you might say the sequence of numbers goes 2, 4, 6, 8, and then you sort of wave your hand to indicate it keeps going, etc. It's a bit vague, I think, but waves hand in a circle, etc. I suppose so. There's probably a better example that would fit the gesture better than I just did. But I think I basically get the meaning, even if I wouldn't have jumped straight to it. And Miss Charlesworth explains that a Linzer is an Austrian pastry, which has a pastry base with a fruit preserve and lattice on top. There are also Linzer cookies, which are two shortbread biscuits sandwiches topped together with, which are two shortbread biscuits sandwiched together with a fruit preserve, with a hole in the top biscuit so you can see the preserve. A jammy Dodger in the UK is an example of one. Okay, well that's a useful visual example because I am familiar with jammy Dodgers. They're as said, they're kind of these little shortbread biscuits with incredibly kind of the jam in them is extremely. It's very hard and not particularly jam-like because they have to be shelf-stable. But anyway, I can imagine what the sort of, I don't know, nicer version of this, I guess, would be like. Thank you, Miss Charlesworth, for explaining the Linzer tort and Linzer cookies. And that's that for today's crossword and today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it, as always, that you've stuck around, which you clearly are, having heard me say that just now. And I'll be back tomorrow for the Friday crossword, when we will dispense with these ridiculous themes. Today's particularly absurdist theme. No such thing will happen in tomorrow's crossword. It will be our first of two themeless puzzles for the day. So I hope for the week. So I hope you join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Thursday. Take care.